Diego Maradona. Diego Maradona wasn't just a footballer. In Argentina, he was treated like a god. He carried his country to World Cup glory in 1986, scoring goals that are still replayed today. But his final years were marked by serious health struggles. In early November 2020, Maradona was hospitalized for exhaustion and depression. Doctors discovered a blood clot on his brain and performed emergency surgery. The operation succeeded. Maradona was sent home to recover under medical supervision. On November 25, 2020, while resting at his house near Buenos Aires, his heart gave out. Paramedics couldn't revive him. He was 60 years old. His autopsy later revealed his heart was completely covered in fat and blood clots, a sign that his body had been struggling for far longer than anyone realized. His death sparked homicide charges against members of his own medical team, who prosecutors say failed to give him proper care. Duncan Edwards. Duncan Edwards was called the finest player England never fully got to see. At just 21, he was already the heartbeat of Manchester United's Busby Babes, a team built to dominate Europe for a decade. On February 6, 1958, the team's plane crashed while taking off from Munich airport. After a European Cup match, Edwards survived the crash. He was rushed to a Munich hospital with severe injuries, and for 15 days doctors fought to save him. Fans across England prayed for a recovery, but on February 21, 1958, his body gave out. He died in his sleep without pain, as his strength simply faded away. 7 of his teammates had died instantly in the crash. Edwards became the 8th. Manchester United would take a decade to recover the talent lost that day. Marc-Vivien Foé. Marc-Vivien Foé was a powerful midfielder for Cameroon, known for his stamina and his smile. On June 26, 2003, he took the field for a Confederations Cup semi-final against Colombia in Lyon, France. In the 72nd minute, with no opponent near him, Foé suddenly collapsed in the center circle. Medical staff rushed onto the pitch. They worked on him for 45 minutes, using CPR and oxygen, but nothing worked. He was pronounced dead that evening, at just 28 years old. An autopsy revealed the cause: hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, a hidden heart condition that had never shown up in any medical test. His death changed football forever. Heart screening for players became mandatory, and defibrillators became standard equipment on every sideline. Antonio Puerta. Antonio Puerta was a one-club man, raised in Sevilla's academy, turned into a fan favorite for his fearless left foot. On August 25, 2007, in Sevilla's season opener against Getafe, he suddenly crouched down in his own penalty area and collapsed. He got back up and walked off the pitch under his own power. It looked like nothing serious, but minutes later, inside the locker room, his heart stopped completely. He suffered a series of cardiac arrests and fell into a coma. For 3 days, doctors fought to save him at a hospital in Seville. On August 28, 2007, Antonio Puerta died from multiple organ failure. He was only 22. His autopsy revealed a hidden genetic heart disease, one that had never been caught in any medical screening. Sevilla created an annual trophy in his name, and years later, Sergio Ramos wore a tribute shirt in his memory, after winning the World Cup with Spain. Socrates. Socrates was unlike any footballer before him. Tall, bearded, and a qualified doctor off the pitch. He captained Brazil's legendary 1982 World Cup team, a side many still call the greatest to never win the trophy. But behind his genius on the field, it was a lifelong battle with alcohol, one he never hid and rarely tried to control. By 2011, the damage had caught up with him. He was hospitalized twice that year with internal bleeding caused by liver damage. In late November, he was rushed to a hospital in Sao Paulo, this time with food poisoning that turned into septic shock. Doctors placed him on a ventilator and a dialysis machine, but his body couldn't recover. On December 4th, 2011, Socrates died at the age of 57. Brazil's entire football league paused for a moment of silence in his honor, and his former club Corinthians dedicated their title celebration to the man they called Dr. Socrates, Bobby Moore. Bobby Moore lifted the World Cup for England in 1966 as captain, becoming a national symbol of glory. Behind the trophies, though, Moore was fighting a much quieter battle. He had already survived testicular cancer early in his career. In 1991, he underwent surgery for suspected colon cancer. By February 1993, the disease had returned and spread to his bowel and liver. Just 3 days after going public with his diagnosis, Moore still showed up to commentate on an England match at Wembley, the same stadium where he once lifted the trophy. A week later, on February 24, 1993, he died at home. Surrounded by his family, he was only 51. His wife later spent decades raising millions for cancer research in his name. If you want to see more stories like this, hit subscribe button and tell me which legend you want covered next.